Regieleki is a legendary Pokemon that was released in Generation 8. This is the fastest Pokemon ever released, with an absolutely absurd base 200 speed stat, with pretty solid offensive stats and a great offensive ability, Transistor, which increases Regieleki's attack or special attack while it's using an electric type move. This Pokemon seems excellent, but in Gen 8, Regieleki had one huge drawback, an extremely limited offensive move pool. Without any water, grass or ice type attacks in its moveset, Regieleki was completely walled by ground types and their electric immunity. For this reason, Regieleki was primarily used as a support Pokemon in Gen 8, rather than an offensive threat. With its high speed and access to useful moves like Rapid Spin, Reflect, and Light Screen. But in Generation 9, Regieleki might finally be able to overcome its biggest drawback and truly become as powerful as it looks. Regieleki will be available to use in Generation 9 after the release of Pokemon Home on May 30th. This Pokemon has already been banned in National Dex OU, and the Smogon Council recently held a vote to determine if Regieleki would be banned after the release of Pokemon Home. They decided that it would start in OU. Many players believe that Regieleki is going to be much more powerful in Gen 9 and will likely be banned to Ubers. Let's take a look at why this Pokemon is getting so much better in Generation 9 competitive singles. But first, let's all show our respect to these heroes who ensured the speedy re-announcement of Pokemon Home Compatibility after the notorious hacker Iron Mugulis and his cronies staged a temporary delay. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to ensure that these officers receive a promotion for their excellent work. Thank you. Gen 9's new mechanic Terastalization has provided many Pokemon so far with the ability to overcome their biggest weaknesses by enhancing their wall-breaking power, fixing their poor defensive typing, providing free turns for setup, or granting new stab-boosted coverage in the form of Terra Blast. And Regieleki will be able to take advantage of this mechanic as well, finally fixing its biggest issue. Regieleki will now be able to Terastallize Ice and use Terra Blast to gain the famous Electric plus Ice coverage combo, super effectively threatening the ground types that it previously couldn't touch. There are some downsides to doing this though. Terastallizing is a big commitment, a resource that you can only use once per game on one Pokemon, and becoming Ice type is quite bad defensively. But when you're this fast, you don't really need defense. Regieleki's transistor boosted electric moves will do huge neutral damage to any target that is not resistant or immune to electric. Volt Switch will do massive damage and pivot at the same time for completely risk-free chip damage and momentum. And your Ice move will super effectively threaten the grass and ground types that would have previously completely walled you. I imagine heavy-duty boots will be the most common choice for a held item, to patch up your rock weakness after terastallizing and prevent hazard chip in general. So basically, whenever you get Regieleki in safely, probably through the support of pivots, you are just in an insanely advantageous position with very limited possible counterplay. Landorus Therian will be returning to the game, and likely be using a Choice Scarf set commonly. But Regieleki is so fast that it barely needs any speed investment to outrun a Scarf Landorus Therian, and KO it with ease thanks to Terra Blast. A speed-boosted Great Tusk also can't outrun Regieleki. Garchomp doesn't commonly use a Scarf, but even if it did, Jolly Scarf Garchomp only ties with a modest, max investment Regieleki. There are a couple ground types who could hold their own against Regieleki. Iron Treads is neutral to Ice thanks to its ground Steel type combination, and it can actually outrun a modest Regieleki after a Rapid Spin, Booster Energy, or Choice Scarf speed increase. Clodsire has the special bulk to be able to handle a Terra Blast Ice, taking less than half health. The same can be said for Ting Lu. Blissey can wall Regieleki effectively, but Blissey is no longer a great Pokemon in the OU metagame. And even against Blissey, you can just freely pivot out to something else and take advantage of how passive Blissey is. This is a very limited amount of counterplay, and even these Pokemon are prone to getting chipped down and forced in by Regieleki, while Regieleki's offense and damage output is pretty risk-free by comparison. This is a Pokemon that was designed to have these serious limitations. A Pokemon this fast actually being able to function offensively shouldn't happen, but thanks to Terastalization, Regieleki will be able to break the rules and overcome its intentional drawbacks, becoming a fast, offensive pivot that is a bit too perfect. My prediction is that Regieleki will be banned to Ubers pretty soon after the release of Pokemon Home. In Ubers, I think it'll be a pretty good choice as well, thanks to the support of Miraidon, who sets electric terrain, enabling calling the move Rising Voltage. It also has high enough speed to turn the tables on common threats like Iron Bundle and Fluttermane. I do agree with the decision to test out Regieleki first, however, even though it seems likely that this Pokemon will be a bit much, and there's a precedent to it being banned already in National Dex OU. We do need to see it in action first before making a big decision. We've been surprised before by Pokemon that seemed absurd but ended up being okay for the OU power level, and if we don't test it out, we'll never know. Using Broken Snuff before it gets banned is a little bit fun as well, I must admit. I'll be using this guy on day 1, and I'm sure a lot of other people will be too. What do you think of Regieleki? Who's your favorite returning Pokemon that you're excited to try out in Gen 9 OU? And what would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you for watching. This video topic was requested by VicBossMG over on Patreon. Thank you for the support, and thank you to the rest of the patrons as well. I've made some changes to my Patreon rewards, as I'll be going away on a trip soon and won't have as much time to upload. Video requests will not be available until I return. Take a look at my Patreon link in the description for more information. You can still become a patron to appear on this funny end screen, alongside your favorite Pokemon. Thank you.
The money got different, 'cause of what I'm spending. The money got different.
Oh, it's
'Cause of what
Megaphone!
I'm spending.
Whoa!
The money
KO
got
by one
different.
hit! It
'Cause
scattered
of what I'm
spikes!
spending. The money got different.